let's get started. Are you ready? You gonna run the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna move too much. So I just wanted to welcome everybody. This is the March meeting. Can you believe it's March already? So thank you for all coming. Just a reminder that masking is still required here at the Rivet. I keep looking on their website, see if they're gonna change it, but I haven't seen any changes yet. We have some new people. So you guys people want to stand up and just say your name and.
I'm Lauren Nowman. I'm Virginia's husband.
Okay, welcome. Are you a woodturner?
No, not really.
Are you a woodworker?
I've done construction quite a bit over the years, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Used to be a machinist back in my youth.
So
I worked metal work, but welding.
Well, he also made me a dulcimer, so I mean.
Oh, okay. Well, did you ever need any balusters? Because you have to learn how to do some spindle turning, make some balusters for you.
I've been practicing.
Well, welcome. Anybody else?
Hi, my name's Jeff. I was actually on the Zoom call last meeting.
Yeah.
So I decided to make the drive over. It's only like 5 minutes, so.
Oh, well, thank you for coming. So tell us a little, I can't remember your experience. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
I've been kind of turning for, I don't know, 11, 12 years, something like that. Just mainly taught myself watching videos and whatnot.
Oh, well, good. So, have you heard of the club before? How did you get involved? I remember the story. Go ahead.
My sister-in-law gave me a gift membership for Christmas.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
You'll have to turn or something.
Yeah, I have a few times already, so.
Well, that's cool. Thank you. Thanks for attending.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. You're counting?
No, I think there's one more.
No more? Oh, yeah.
Mark Ott,
How did I miss you?
immediate past president of the Pennsylvania Forestry Association, 2021 Tree Farmer of the Year for Pennsylvania, firefighter, EMT, and water rescue and ice rescue in
For what area?
Howard.
Howard? Okay.
So the suburbs of Howard is where I live.
Okay.
And I haven't turned wood. I've done a lot of tree care in my forest, and I see a lot of burls up there I want to deal with.
Ah, good. Bring some in, we'll auction them off, get some money. You know Norma Stahl? No chance. Okay. I know somebody that lives out there, just wondered if you knew. Well, welcome, and you had a story about Jim too.
Well, Jim is always bothering me to come and learn how to turn wood.
Jim Finley's talking, yeah.
And I kept putting it off, and now I regret it. So I figured this will make up for that.
Well, good. In your spirit, welcome.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. So, okay, well today, how many people we got here now? Oh, come on in, have a seat. Yes, it is. You've been here before?
I've been in this building once before when the pandemic set in, everything was over at the middle school. So it's been a while since I've been here, so.
Okay, could you reintroduce yourself and tell us a little bit about it?
Well, my name's Mike Sigwin, and I've been a member here before.
Yeah.
And so, well, when I found out it was tonight, also you've changed, it's not Thursday nights.
Yes.
Not over there, it's, so at least anything, I want to make sure I pay my dues. And I have turned wood before, and I'm trying to get back into it.
Oh, good.
That's all I can really tell you.
Well, welcome back. And we always appreciate the dues.
Well, appreciate the what?
The dues.
Chair right there.
Oh, I thought it was somebody's chair there.
No, that's good. So welcome everybody who's been here before and those who haven't been. It's a nice mix, I guess, right now. So first off, before we get to the treasurer's report, I just wanted to thank Larry. Is Larry online? Larry, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to thank you for representing us at the AAW. I got online after I became president and found out how active Larry is there, and he's really representing the Nittany Valley Woodturners really well in a couple of areas. You want to talk a little bit about that before you give your report?
Yeah, it's what I really do is I occasionally respond to posts on the leadership forum, and I think Reg has done that as well. But we did have an interesting thread about curriculum for introduction to wood turning what came out of that was I posted our curriculum on the AAW site. There have been some discussions about 5013C things, and about there was one where they were asking all the chapters about their dues structure, and it was pretty surprising that they run all the way from about what we are to over $50 a year, and sometimes clubs change them regularly and sometimes they don't. I think there were quite a few like us who haven't changed them since day one. There's the typical concern about cash flow during the pandemic. We are in many ways blessed because we don't have a lease on a space we have to pay, and there are a lot of clubs that are doing that. So yeah, it's a good group.
Yeah, well, thank you again for representing. That's I was amazed and wasn't really surprised by it. So thank you very much.
What state is he in?
He's here.
I think that's just his background.
Oh.
I was looking at the water.
Hotel,
The water isn't flowing. I was looking.
well, I know it's like a painting or something.
We thought you were on vacation there, Larry.
Yeah, I'm in the Yukon.
Yes, Yukon, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so you're ready for your treasurer's report? Do you want to do that?
I am. In February, we had $50 in deposits, no expenses. Our current balance is $4,776.
Very good.
I will be writing a check tomorrow to AAW for our chapter insurance, which is $200. That hasn't changed in the last several years. I don't actually remember it ever being different than 200 going back to when I was president.
Cool. Is what all does that do for us? Could you give us a reminder, because
It
sometimes-
is basically an umbrella liability policy that protects us for any club sanctioned activity, and it includes both member and non-member participants in a club sanctioned activity. So it takes a lot of pressure off for liability.
Very
Larry,
good.
can I ask you a question about that?
Hmm.
The Ribbit needs a copy of the certificate of insurance.
I think we
Okay.
sent that. I think we sent that to them.
Oh, great. I didn't know whether or not that had gone through. Yep,
I'll get one for this year.
great. Thank you.
I have a question relating to the AAW.
Yeah.
So, are we allowed to like use any of their material like during meetings? Do you have to get permission to do that, or does anybody know that?
Larry, you want to take, or do you know that for sure?
It is my understanding that use of AAW materials in chapter meetings is acceptable.
That's correct.
Our beginning wood turning curriculum, I started with the AAW curriculum and modified it a little bit, but it bears a striking resemblance to the AAW curriculum.
No, you're correct.
But it's better.
Say again?
But it's better. Reggie,
Now,
do you have-
what's the underlying question there?
Travis.
Well, I was just wondering, as far as like, you know, like the last month when I did the demonstration, and I thought, well, maybe I could print something out from AAW like as a handout and hand it out to people, but then I thought, well, you know, that handing out their material, you know, I don't know what the rules were for getting permission to do that, or, even something like, you know, we wanted to watch a AAW video during a meeting, or, you know.
No, I think anything that's published on the AAW website or is available to member chapters is in fact available to member chapters for our use.
Okay, great.
Okay, and if you want, I can double check that, but I'm sure that's correct. That's what
I believe it
remember.
is. And the copyright laws on personal use are pretty generous. We're not selling this stuff to somebody else.
This is true.
Hey, I have a question about American Woodturner,
Yeah.
the magazine. Two questions. A, do you remember, I think it was maybe two winters ago, Jim gave a talk on how to select wood for figure and color. He was working on an article, writing a piece for American Woodturner. Does anyone know if he finished that, submitted it, and something to look for? I think be interesting. Be look, you know, he had already talked to them about publishing it. I was just wondering if anybody knew if it was submitted or.
What was the article on?
It was basically that talk. Remember the slideshow he gave? Would have probably been around Christmas or January. I don't know if it was last year. It was on selecting wood for how to look for signs where there would be interesting color or figure from bird pecks, and he talked about
Crotchwood.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So he was going to be writing. He was, I think, already at that time working on a piece, and I thought he had said he had talked to the AAW with the intent that it was going to be published.
You can go to the American Woodturner archives and search by author. You could just type his name in for author and find everything that they ever printed for him.
Right. Well, this was something that at that time was still in the future, hadn't been printed yet. So I'm thinking that.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll contact the AAW and I'll find out if if they're working on that or if it's been submitted.
Yeah. And something that would be kind of neat if we could do, if we could get copies of some of the original magazines that his articles were published in.
Yeah.
For our library, I think it would be pretty cool to have something.
Yeah, I think we had a thread going around that for a while, the executive group. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that. Is there anybody else that has anything published with AAW or any other? You know, does anybody know? Larry, did you have anything?
No, not me.
Okay. You didn't?
Letter to the editor.
Letter to the, well, that works. That works.
I'm published, yeah.
Sounds like troublemaker.
Well, that would be good. Do we have a library of material along that same lines? Do we have any kind of library for those kinds of things?
We have a lending library, which I maintain in a spreadsheet, and anybody who wants a copy of what's in there, I don't know whether Jim Hopkins has published that at our website or not, but contact me and I'll send you the spreadsheet.
I think there is some on our website. I'm not sure how complete it is. So, okay.
Well, it's not very recent, but
It's complete, but it's not recent. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. 'Cause I do remember seeing it there. Very good. That's another thing. All right. I'll write that down I'll take that on too. Okay. Very good. And what about the meeting notes from last time? Did everybody have a chance to look at them? Is there any discussion about it? Does anybody want to put forward a motion that we should accept it?
I make
So moved.
Okay, second. Any follow-up?
I think my last name was identified incorrectly, if I
Okay.
remember.
Okay, was it spelled wrong or?
No, I think I was like Jan Harrison or something, rather than Jan Dillon.
Huh.
I
Two L's.
somewhere in
Two
some
L's,
set of
correct?
minutes that happened.
Sorry, Janet.
That's okay.
I'll make sure that gets changed.
Besides that, I would move to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, very good. We'll move on now. So some of the old business, Paul, would you like to talk about the classes that have been going on a little bit?
We had one class in February. It was the 12th of February. We did pen turning. We had 5 students. 6 were signed up, but the father or the family group was sick and could not attend. So far, we've had 3 pen turning classes, 2 in January and 1 in February, and they've been well received. So the people from Rivet have asked us to put on additional pen turning classes, 2 a month in March, April, and May.
Dates you give you.
Yeah, the dates are basically the last 2 Wednesdays of the month, so March 23rd and 30th, April 20th and 27th, May 18th and the 25th. These last about 2 hours and 2.5 at the most. We've scheduled it for 3 hours just to make sure we've got enough time and nobody makes any mistakes where they can't walk away with a pen at the end of the class. But so far, we've had 3 classes and everybody's completed their pens and they've been happy.
Do you have enough instructors for all those dates?
Right now we do. We only have 4 active instructors. Larry Lukens, Jan Dillon, Mike LeBeau, and myself. So we'd like to have at least 2 instructors per class. As long as we have adults, that seems to be working pretty well. If we had young kids taking the class, we'd probably need at least 3 instructors in a class with 6.
Okay. Could anybody show up there and help out, or we would have to go through a class? Or get approved, I don't know.
I'll have to check with Rivet. Right now, to be an instructor, you have to go through all the child abuse and whatnot that typically happens in an educational setting. It's real easy, and all of us have done it. But it is one of those restrictions that Rivet also has implemented.
If you've gone through it at Penn State, does it count?
Yes,
Okay,
we just need to get the same paperwork to them.
okay.
So all
But
that.
I think you also have to do the Pennsylvania State Police
Yeah,
form.
background
Just
check.
FBI
Yeah.
check, state police check.
Yeah, yeah.
the Abuse. There's about 3 things that you
Right.
check off.
Paul, where do we stand with regard to the long-standing classes that we have offered? I mean, I know that we're in a completely new environment and we're adapting and adjusting, and I applaud you all for that. But is it likely we'll get back to like the adult classes in winter and the middle school classes in summer? Is that even desirable? What do you think about all that?
Well, right now, even Rivet has come to us and said, now that we've pretty much shown them that there's a customer base for these shorter classes, they would like to offer longer classes. And of course, Rivet already offers long classes and things like
Pottery.
and whatnot. So they've asked us to look into that. And we can look into it. It is a load on the 4 instructors that we have right now, because these longer classes are usually 3 to 5 days long. And if one person is not there, it becomes more of a problem, because with new turners, you need to have extra eyeballs on them so that it's safe. So I'm reluctant to commit to long classes unless we have more instructors.
Can we at least ask the membership to reach out to you if they're willing to go through the steps to be an instructor?
Yes, or I could also post them on the website or put them in the minutes so that people could take a look at what's required and how to do it.
Yep.
I can do that. The 4 instructors we've had a lot of fun. It's kind of enjoyable to see students progress to a stage where they get something done and they take it home and they're thrilled with it. And I mean, that's literally what happens with the pen turning classes. Everybody in those classes walks away with a smile on their face, if we could tell behind the mask. So it's really is an enjoyable situation. It's just that for safety's sake and to be good stewards of the program, we really need to have enough eyeballs on the students that we don't miss something.
Yep.
And that's why we need to have a larger instructor base so that we can go forward.
Yeah, I personally can't wait to get back to longer classes. Before the stupid pandemic, Paul and I actually kicked around the idea of having more than one adult class in the winter. And of course, we were overtaken by events, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, in a few years after I retire, I might be able to step up.
Okay. I lost the train of what I was going to say. Rivet has asked us to go to longer classes. What I'm thinking we might try to do first, one of the class programs that we do for the middle school kids and the adult class was that final program or final project, which is a 3-day project to make 3-legged stools, milking stools, if you will, and that would take 3 days of a 5-day class. So I'm thinking we might try to do something like that, where again, at the end of the class, they walk away with something. So we're just going to beat that around a little bit and see what makes sense as we emerge out of COVID.
Well, I really want to thank you, Paul, for taking the leadership on that instructional program. It's very, shall I say, labor intensive, and you've done a marvelous job. I know that others on this screen and in the room have been very, very helpful, but you've been kind of the leader on all of that, and I thank you.
Well, Larry, Jan, and Mike have all contributed a lot to this. Now, one thing that Larry has done recently has acquired some of these casters that have brakes on them for the bottom of the lathe. We've been schlepping around lathes for the last 10 years, and quite frankly, once you get to 70, it's not much fun anymore. So Larry got a set of 4 casters. We tried them out, installed them. So one of the lathes now has breakable casters on them so that you can roll it out wherever you need it, slap the brakes on, and it's solid as a rock, and then you can slip it right back into the storage area. Now we're planning to put casters on all of the lathes that have stands, and we're also thinking of getting additional, I think 2 more stands, and then all of our lathes will be mobile. And so you wouldn't have to just pick them up and move them around. And that's going to help an awful lot in the preparation for classes, because we don't, out here, we could be in one room, we could be in the far room, and it just requires a lot of effort to get that set up.
So Larry,
You
how
also
much
say,
would
add that
the
word.
casters cost for us? Is this
$40.
$40? So we need how many more?
Oh, we have them.
Oh, you have?
He's got them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific.
Paul and I have to make a date to put them on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd also add that we're really very fortunate that the Rivet is providing the space for these classes,
Oh, yeah.
as well
And
as
for
the
storage
space
of
to
the lathe.
store our equipment.
Yeah. Do we
Yeah,
have?
we truly are blessed in that regard.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Following that thread that Larry was talking about earlier, a lot of clubs are facing real
Right.
serious cash flow issues because they have to rent space. And we're fortunate, and I think it's a good two-way collaboration.
It is, definitely.
So I guess we'll close this out, but if anybody is interested in taking a pen turning class, which is basically a introductory spindle turning class, you go through Rivet and they'll set you up and then we'll take care of it in the class.
Yeah. Paul, I think we settled on a 2.5-hour class.
Mhm.
That's what's on the schedule now,
Yeah,
5 to 7:30.
that's right, Jan.
Okay, do we have the materials and the tooling and the pen kits?
We have the
and
pen
blanks?
kits, we have the tools. Right now, we're pretty good for pen blanks.
Okay,
So if we were to go into other programs or projects like the stools and what, we might have to consider additional lumber for those things. But we're good for, we have probably walnut blanks that can last into the next century.
wow, okay, where did
Does
they
that come in
come
auction? Somebody bring them in?
Now, these were pen blanks that Mark McLaren and I, we bought the walnut at Peachy's and then Mark took it home and he ripped it all into pen blanks. So we have probably 70 blanks that are 6 inches long or something like that. So we're in good shape right now.
Yeah, I turned a walnut board, 4/4 board into pen blanks too.
Yeah,
Okay, so we don't need to
not yet,
get any money or for casters or any material or anything.
not
What
now.
about the stands?
The stands, we would need more money for.
Okay,
I think, Larry, there's 2 more that we need stands for, correct?
Yeah, we need to get a price and put out a proposal for that.
Yeah, these are the older jet
Yeah.
lathes, so we have to figure out parts, part numbers and stuff.
okay. You think there's gonna be a problem with, we're allowed to spend up to what, $500?
Correct.
So you think it'll be over that amount?
I do not know yet.
Yeah, I don't
Any
think so,
guesses?
but I wouldn't venture a guess yet.
Okay,
For 1 or 2 lathe stands,
that'd be 2 stands.
I think you could probably get that for under 500.
Yeah.
Okay,
Small lathes.
okay, all right.
How much do the lathes cost?
These are old ones, so it probably could be done with under 500.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, if there's a problem,
We'll bring it to the board.
We'll bring it to the board and the board will take a vote on it, I suppose. Okay, all right, sounds good. There's also one other thing. The Rivet contacted me. They want to talk a little bit about splitting fees and things like that. I might bring, who's been involved in that mainly, just you? Okay, so if they want more discussions,
Yeah.
you and I will make sure that we're involved. Anybody else want to be involved in that? Good, okay. That's what I suspected. All right, so I was actually reading that's good for the old business. Now, new business, I was actually reading some of the paperwork for the club, and we're supposed to have a quarterly executive meeting, so I'm gonna try to schedule one, and I'm gonna coordinate it with Reg, because Reg volunteered to have his place, so we're gonna try to have it in March sometime, Reg. You have any, if you could take a look and get back to me, we'll try to get one scheduled.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Zoom, do you want to talk about your Zoom equipment, the computer, and everything around that, Travis?
Yeah, I guess we just need to get a laptop. I did look at some options and prices. Give me a price range or something, I can look for some more. I think that one that I sent out on the link is not available anymore, but and that little microphone that we're using now, that it wasn't too expensive. I think it was like $50 maybe.
Okay, all right. You make sure you get reimbursed for that.
Well, that's mine. I just put it on there, but
Okay. So the laptop, what kind of mic? It's going to be over 500, I'm assuming.
it's it's kind of like, you know, a little bit more than 500 is the kind of range of like least amount to spend on a decent laptop. Under 500, you kind of start to get limited on what, you know, quality of what you can get.
I'd like to move that the club give the executive committee the authority to spend more than $500 on an appropriate laptop so that we can make all of this work. That's a motion.
I second that.
Is there any discussion about that? Is that sound okay? Because right now, everybody's using their own, we're bringing in our own laptops for that kind of thing. That's not fair to those people. So, okay.
Do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Anybody opposed? Jan? No? Okay. I thought I heard Jan say something.
No,
Okay. What about audio visual equipment? Do we want to expand what we're looking at for that? Or we're thinking about, because whenever we do demos, is one camera enough? That's basically
Well,
what
we
I'm
do
asking.
have another camera, and I did test out like using multiple cameras, and I think I got that figured out.
Okay.
The only thing, if we do it like a demonstration where we need like a wireless microphone or something, that might be something we want to look into, but I'm not really sure how complicated they are or how much they cost. So
Yeah, one of the things, I attend another club, and one of the things they do, they have two microphones. One is always attached to the demonstrator or the speaker, and the other one they have what's called a talking stick, and they have the talking stick go around. Anybody wants to say anything, so there's always two going. And then when it comes to demonstrations, they have an overhead that they always just keep static, and then they have one that somebody, they play Paul.
yeah.
They walk around with the camera. So I think that's something we need to look at here in the future, just to improve. If we want to look at improving, getting the club, you know, a little bit larger and bringing more people in, maybe from the outside. If they can come on as a Zoom, if we can make it really, really great, I think we can increase our population here. Yeah.
Again, I move that we give that to the executive committee to decide if any particular expense exceeds $500. It'll have to come to the club. But if any individual expense, like for a particular microphone or whatever, is under that, let's have the executive board make that decision.
I second that motion.
Okay, is there any discussion about that? Anybody have any issues or?
I approve that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anybody? Nobody giving us a thumbs down on Zoom? Okay, good deal. Good, thanks, Travis.
Hey, Ken, I have a good friend of mine is a professional musician,
Yeah,
and he's always dealing with sound, mics, etc. I can ask him if he has any suggestions, things to avoid, or, because he obsesses over that kind of stuff.
oh, okay, that would be great. Yeah, that'd be great. Any kind of input like that would be helpful. And maybe you can tie in with Travis
Yeah,
and
no problem.
And Jim Hopkins too, maybe you can pull him in too. Is Jim online?
No,
How many people are online? Do you see, go to the chat and tell?
10.
There's 10, okay. There's 17 here and 10 there.
Yeah, we actually have 8 online, I think.
Okay,
We have 9 plus the folks in person.
Yeah,
okay.
But we also have Linda and Barry both, so that puts us back at 10.
yeah.
Very good. So one of the things I want to do, because I'm new at this, this is only my second meeting, so what I'd like to do is if we can briefly, you guys, go down and want to talk to the executive committee and just have them talk a little bit about what they're up to, what they see in the future, anything that's come up, Is Mike Messina on there? First, we'll start with him. Mike? Nope, must not be.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you have anything you want to talk about, just real briefly, or say?
No,
hello?
I'm here.
Okay. One of the things I want to tell you is I want to make sure that you're in on a lot of these conversations.
No, I didn't have anything to say.
Okay, I want to make sure that you're in on a lot of the conversations that I'm in on. So I'm going to be forwarding or including you in a lot of the emails and inviting you to some of the meetings, if that's okay. Okay? He's on a delay.
Sure.
All right, Gary Davis, do you have anything? Do you need pencils or pens or anything?
Thanks, but no, I'll provide all the pens and pencils and paper that I need. Thank you.
All right, if it gets over $500, let us know. We'll go to the executive committee.
Okay, thanks.
All right, education, you already talked. Is there anything else that you want to?
Nope.
Okay. Mentoring. Robert.
Well, we're kind of in a standstill here. This is another program that's sort of been held hostage by the pandemic in a pretty supreme way. So maybe now doors of opportunity start to open up a little bit. And I suppose, I don't know, is it even possible to have mentoring here? Is that, I would think maybe some people would be more interested in mentoring if they didn't have to do it at their place, I'm not sure, or it's kind of like a neutral ground, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not...
I think that's something that people would get together and might want to discuss, but that's definitely an option. Sure. Yeah.
Can I, as someone
Yeah.
who's brand new to this, I would love to have somebody, this is a big ask, but I would love, somebody gave me their lathe.
Sure.
And I would love to have somebody come to my house and say, this is, I mean, I've been noodling around with it, but just talk to me about my lathe and see, help me with that. I think that would be wonderful. I would love that.
Sure.
These are the pieces of equipment that you need. And, it's not a fancy lathe like the ones out here. I have to move the belt to change the speed.
That's what I have.
But so I move the belt and then I read the diagram and go, I don't think that's really changing the speed according to, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to have somebody come and look at it and say, this is the story.
What kind is it? Is it a jet?
A Sears and Roebuck.
Sears.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's old. It's a
Okay.
12-inch Sears and Roebuck lathe that has, the belts on the side and.
We don't say old, we say experienced.
But I mean, I would love that, and so.
You're in the county?
I'm on Loveville Road, which is.
Oh, Loveville Road.
Yeah, okay, so you know where that is, so.
Okay, well, I'm in Gatesburg, so maybe we can talk after.
That would be great.
Okay, we can do that. All right?
You also
You
might
know
want to
where I
consider,
We talked last time.
at some point, they mentioned the intro class.
Well, I've taken 2 pen classes.
Yes, she
Robert, I'm
has.
going to suggest that you exhibit a little creativity with regard to that mentoring program. Reach out to the membership, ask them what kinds of mentoring they might like to have, and come back to the executive committee with your suggestions.
I think the idea of holding it at the Rivet is a great one. I would like to see Robert pursue that, see if we can get it organized.
So I can maybe offer a couple thoughts about that. We have worked out a deal actually with the Rivet that members of our club can now go in and use the lathes at the club lathes at the Rivet. And Virginia and I are about ready to embark on that. We're just sort of waiting for another set of casters to get on so that we can easily move the lathe because one is ready to go. The Rivet has a fee per use, And I assume both people who were at the Rivet, you would need to simply pay that amount. So right now it's $7 for a 4-hour block.
A
Okay.
bargain
So,
is,
yeah, I mean, I asked Reggie in probably November to see if we could work this out so that in fact, club members could use club lays at the Rivet. And, you know, the Rivet was involved in all that conversation. They want to see that happen. I certainly want to see it happen. And Larry found out that AAW does in fact ensure sanctioned club activities.
I think it's already, it's already
is.
completely authorized, so.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to address Robert's question.
Okay.
Yeah, Robert, if you want to meet with Ken and I at some point, maybe we can give you some guidance as to how to get this back on the rails, given the fact that we've all come through this pandemic and you've been kind of led adrift, and we'll help you work this out.
Sounds good. Okay, very good. Anything else on the mentoring? Multimedia, that's you, Travis. Did you have anything else you wanted to, something you thought about along the way?
No, I guess not.
Okay, how about Jim Hopkins and communications? Is he there?
Not here tonight.
I don't
No.
think,
Okay, was Mike able to get online, or is he still not there?
I'm sorry, who?
Mike Lebo.
He was here earlier, but he's not here now.
Right.
Okay. Well, I want to talk to him because I'm not really even sure what April, what the event is for April, the demonstration. Because I want to get back to doing demonstrations.
I can tell you what the topic of next month is.
Okay.
I'm going to be demonstrating the Beal wood buffing system to the club.
Okay, that's Gary.
Yep.
What about
I would
May?
encourage people to bring a bowl or something to try the buffing system with next month.
Okay, very good. Does he have anything for May?
I cannot answer that.
Okay. All right. I'll talk with Mike and figure out what their agenda is. Now, I know they talked about possibly doing shop tours along the way too. But I don't know if that's still on the agenda or not. Okay, is Dan Kozar on there?
No.
Okay. Well, I talked to Dan a little bit today. He gave me a call. He wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not. And Dan he was looking at venue, possibly working with, and he's been working with Bowlesburg. We're looking at maybe going with them, but we also donate a lot of bowls to Bowlesburg. We found out that Bob Cameron is going to retire.
Yeah.
So I think it's at retirement. So
I think he's moving on.
yeah. So
He's leaving.
we worked a lot with him. We donated a lot of bowls there, especially Dan Kozar. And I think they want to, Robert gave me a contact and said, why don't we get a card for him? So I went out and bought a retirement card
Oh, good.
for him. So if everybody would like to just put your signature on it, and I'll make sure it gets to him, okay?
Yeah, good.
So go ahead and just put your name anywhere on it. And I'll
Hey,
spread-
Ken,
Yeah,
he's not actually retiring. He's just,
Yeah.
he's gonna remain there at the museum. He's just not gonna be the director of the Bowl Mansion and Columbus Chapel. I think he's gonna resume some of his private work that he does.
okay, so this
Consulting
is,
work.
it's not appropriate to send him a retirement card, or is it?
Well, he's not really retiring. but I guess I mean, I don't think it's gonna matter. He'll appreciate it either way.
That's
Okay.
the thought behind it.
So he'll still be in-
I would recommend that we continue whatever relationship with him that enables us to harvest wood and make donations. But I would recommend that we abandon any further entreaties to have a space at the Bowl Mansion.
Yeah. Agree.
You mean during, you mean?
I think we should stop. I think.
Yeah,
we should-
the Rivet is a perfect location for us.
Yeah.
Oh, for the venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
Yeah.
Yep. I think we should focus our efforts at the Rivet.
Yeah.
Be as collaborative as we possibly can be and abandon any efforts to have a venue at the Bowl Mansion.
Yeah, Dan was telling me that they got hit pretty hard by COVID, and that I think a lot of the work for that, fixing up that area has just gone away. So I don't even think that's in their plans right now until they get back on track. So I think that's a good idea. Does anybody have any discussions about that? You all know what we're talking about? Okay.
Hey, Ken,
Yeah.
just one thing. I mean, he can still be a contact for you there because he'll still be there
Okay.
for the bowls and whatnot.
Yep.
Because he'll still be involved with the museum.
Okay, very
Just to
good.
clarify that.
Now, how do you know this from all the way down there? I want to know.
I'm still in contact with him. Plus, I get their newsletter,
Oh, okay.
which we may want to get on their newsletter, which comes out, I believe, every 6 months or so. It's pretty informative.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Okay, and women in turning, and I just wanted to say, Linda isn't on there. Linda is on there?
She is.
Linda
sir.
is.
Okay, well, I just wanted to thank Linda. Linda stepped down as the chair for the Women in Turning, and just want to thank her for getting involved with all that. And if she had been here, I have a certificate of appreciation for her.
Oh,
Good.
So she got that started, and now, Jan, you have some big shoes to fill.
I do indeed.
So thank you for stepping up and taking over that task. And
Yeah.
we're anxious to see how you get this thing going.
Well, I'll just mention a couple. Linda, do you have anything to say? You still seem to be on mute.
Yep. Your microphone's not working.
She says,
Lin-
move along.
Okay, Linda shared with us a fabulous project, collaborative project she had done with two other turners. And I think those women were in other countries. And she brought it to the club. It was just such a lovely activity. So I'm hoping that our club will continue and build on that. I had a couple ideas in our wood turning classes that we've had at the Rivet. We've probably had maybe 5 women in those classes. I do want to ask the Rivet for permission to contact those women to encourage them to join the club. I do think a little tiny detail at our, when we offer classes, we really need to have business cards with how to join the club. Anyway, so I'm going to contact the women who have taken our pen turning classes to encourage them to join. Virginia is in the room at the Rivet. Virginia and I are going to be meeting very soon, I'm hoping, so that we can begin to develop a relationship turning wood together at the Rivet. And then finally, I'd also like to contact Jim Hopkins and Ken and ask for a few little tweaks to our website and I'm sure Jim is very busy. But I do have some suggestions. If you take a look at it, there's not a single woman, that's represented in photos or anything. So I would like to see us have some indication that we welcome women on our website.
Good point.
It's a good point. That's a good point. How about younger people too? Is there any?
Absolutely, diversity all around. We really need to.
Years.
The picture that's up there, it's been up there at least as long as I've been a member, and
Yeah.
it's aged a little bit, and I think our club can be represented
In a
a
different
little.
light.
I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, don't say too much.
There you go. I think everyone gets my. Yes,
Can you-
thanks, Linda.
Well, I
Can
like
you
the
hear me?
picture of doing curve
Yes.
cuts.
Hello?
Yes, Linda.
Okay, I did want to say that I got an email from Marie Anderson, who's in charge of the women interning at AAW. And I don't know if anybody's going to the symposium in June. But if they are, they would like our project that I'm sitting on taken to the symposium. So I don't think we'll be going, but if anybody goes, it would be nice to do that. And Jan, I think I'll forward this email to you so that
Okay.
you can kind of make connections with her.
Thank you very much.
I am tentatively going to go. I'm trying to convince my wife. I think we're gonna swing it, make it a vacation kind of a thing. So I might be able to do that. Don't hold me to it right now, though.
Okay, we're going to head out for about 6 weeks, so I know we'll miss next month's meeting. But if anybody decides to go, email me or something and we'll make arrangements to get that project to them.
Okay. All right.
It is truly lovely. And
It really
I
is.
hope it has a place on the national stage.
They will be doing that again this year, Jan.
Okay. I appreciate that heads up. Ken, I am visiting friends in Georgia. So I
Yeah.
wanted to get through the business meeting, but I'm going to log off and wish everyone a nice evening.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you for stepping up.
Sure, you bet. Thank you, Linda.
Okay, and along the same line, since I was making certificates, I just made one for Reg, our outgoing president. Just wanted to give him a thank you. So I'll get that to him. So thank you, Reg. Appreciate, you really went through a lot because of COVID and all that. You were able to keep the group together and actually make it thrive. So really, really appreciate what you've done there.
Thank you very much, Ken.
No, thank you. Seriously, that was a lot of work. We know that. So
It was like leadership through a war, and we came through that with 46 paid members this year.
yeah, wow, that's amazing. It's really
That's
good.
super. That's super. That's wonderful. I'm so pleased.
Yep, very good, sir. Thank you. I'll get this to you when we get the executive meeting there.
Okay.
All right. All right. So that does it. Is there any other new business or anything you want to talk about? Mike, we were just going around and talking to all the people on the executive committee, and we want to know if April was going to be the Beal buffing system. You remember what May is going to be? Mike just walked in.
That's Gary Davis, and I know he's in Florida right now, so I'll check.
Who's going to do it, May? No, that's April is going to be Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's online. He says yeah.
okay,
And May, did you have anything yet?
not yet, I'm working on it.
All right.
I have a question about May,
Yep.
having to do with Bowl Mansion. Any idea if, is there Memorial Day celebration going? And do you remember a couple of years ago, we had a tent there or something, didn't we?
Yeah. I'll count on Dan on being the liaison for that, I can't answer you. He was gonna call Bob. Yeah, here, I have a card for him. We have a, can you sign this? Since you just walked in. So, yeah, okay. So that's all I have for any other new business? Okay, so what we'll do is a show and tell. And anybody have some, can you hand me the 2 small bowls there? I'll go first since I'm still talking. Yeah. In January, I did a demonstration of Easy Wood Tools, and I let people come up and do their turning. And these are the 2 bowls. I ended up finishing them off. They're one's a little bit heavier than the other, but this was kind of a group thing that we had done. Thought they came out real nice. So sumac is one of those unusual woods, but I looked it up on the database, and it says there's a lot of people do wood turning on with if they can find a piece large enough. And this one in particular, I've been reading about the Viking bowl that was found that was dug up in Dublin, and this was kind of the shape that it went into. And as I was turning it, I kept thinking about that, so I turned it into this shape. So if you could take a look at it, that's what the Viking bowl is found. It's like 1,000 years old. It was dug up, but I can't get the dimensions, but it's a small piece like this too. So, but that was kind of fun. So you want to pass that around? Who else we got here? Travis, you want to do yours?
Well, start with mine.
Eddie.
My new Easy Wood Tools. Been turning some things. Did we decide this was box elder? Did somebody?
Yeah, it's box elder.
Yeah, this was a piece of, I had some boards, so I glued them together. I didn't get a good fit, Larry.
No, that is a good fit.
And then I made a little bowl here. It's out of sassafras. And made another box out of cedar.
Nice.
And really enjoying those new tools. Really like them.
So which one are you using the most?
Pretty much all of them.
Okay.
Yes, I use them all. The finisher, the rougher. I love that rougher.
Yeah.
Really nice. And the little diamond shaped.
Yep. That's
detailer. I guess it's called
Yep.
detailer. Very nice.
Is that those carbide tools?
Yes, carbide insert tools. Yep.
Travis, you want to do yours?
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. This is a piece of walnut I did last year. Very dry piece of wood. But I really wanted to save this hole there. So there was quite a bit of tear out, but since you can't see it too closely, you won't notice it.
Hold it still. Rotate and stop.
And I couldn't really put a good foot on it because of the live edge. I didn't. But anyway, I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah. Oh, nice. How did you hold it at the end so it got that big, that flat at the bottom?
There was a
Okay. Yeah.
there was a thing on there, and then I just chopped it off and tried to sand it down a little bit just so it would sit flat. But I thought about trying to put a jam chuck in there, but I haven't had a lot of luck with that. So.
Gotcha. It's really nice piece.
Thanks.
You want to do yours now?
This is walnut, and last month I bought the piece of wood at the auction.
Dave Huber. Yep.
And it has some wormholes in it. So inside it, I ran onto some wormholes also in turning it. So, but anyway, here should be.
And what do you store in it?
Oh, you can put money. Yeah, come on. It's supposed to be a candy jar.
I know, where's the candy? That's what I wanted to see.
You laugh, I have a small one I stash in a cabinet in my shop, and I keep some money in there in case I get a project I need it for. I hide it in the back of the shelf.
Don't tell the wife it's there.
No.
And the bowl?
Okay,
It's my attempt at a bowl, and I was trying to put a berm line in, and I was using my chuck with I guess I call it a mortise.
Yep.
Was just attempting a few things, and I did take your advice on the sharpening of the bowl gouges that we talked about.
Oh.
And I talked about, and they did work much better.
What did I tell you to do?
You told me that the 40-40 grind wasn't that important.
Oh, yeah.
But I was able to use 5/8 inch and get down in the bottom the way I liked. I did get some tear out in it, but for an old piece of elm, it turned out.
That's beautiful.
Turned out fair. Wife likes it.
It's beautiful. So I got to thinking about that discussion we had after that, and it's a lot like, I used to golf a lot, and when you buy new golf clubs, you don't try to change what the golf clubs do. You have to learn how to use the golf clubs. So you have to change your swing a little, your grip a little to make them work. I think
Well, the big thing, I'm learning how to sharpen. I did get a sharpening system, slow speed grinder with a Wolverine.
Good.
And it does work rather well.
Good.
As far as I know, it does.
Did you have trouble setting it up, or?
No, I went by the instructions, and it seems to work. And
What, you read instructions?
Used the marker pen on it and looked at it to see if it was right.
Very good. That's a nice piece. So, there any more over there? Is that it? All right. Who's got the piece for auction? Who brought that in? You brought that in too?
Yeah, it's dry. It's cut at my friend's house, and I picked it up probably 5 years ago, and it's been laying around the shop. And I did cut a piece off of that and made a small bowl.
Cedar.
Yeah. So it's good and dry.
Okay. Anybody?
No, it has a crack.
Well, it does, huh? Boy, there goes the value.
Yeah.
Better for me.
Okay, turn it around. You won't see the crack.
Is that white cedar?
It does have a big knot in it too.
Hold it up there. I'll bring it up front. Everybody can see it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be. Seal the one in there.
Oh,
it's a nice piece. Anybody? We'll do the auction. Anybody want to do the auctioneering? Or you just want me to do it?
You do it.
Okay.
$1.
I'll start out with $1. No. Auction people don't count on the online.
Yeah.
So I hear $2. Anybody got $2 on that?
I have $2.
You have $2? I'll do 3.
Uh-oh.
I know.
I'll do 5.
Who's 5? Larry, 5?
Yep.
Anybody do 6?
6.
Okay, 6. Anybody do 7? Anybody do 7? Look at that. That's at least 2 good, 3, 4. I could see 4 good bowls out of that. And maybe a couple of Christmas ornaments. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So $6. Anybody got 7?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Okay, it's all yours for $6. Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. Thank you.
There you go.
You're good.
I know. I'll throw in another $1 if you want.
Here's another unique thing for the auction.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
I bought a,
Yeah, it is here.
I bought a set of these, more than I need, so I thought I'd bring one. Somebody can use this, just a test tube, but somebody can use it for an insert
Go for a
for like a vase. So I thought, somebody wants that.
I'll do $1 on that. Anybody else do $2? $2, anybody? There's $2.
It's about an inch, I think it's either an inch or an inch and a half diameter.
Well, I'll do $3. Anybody do $4? Do $3? How about 4? How about 4? $4. It's worth it. Come on. Spend
$4.
$4. There you go. I didn't want to take it.
Are you going 5?
No, I'm not going to buy it. I'll let you have it for 4. Yeah, stuck you with.
He did that. You're good, yeah.
$4.
So $4.
$4? Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
And paying $4.
Good job.
It was actually
Good job. Good job. All right. So anybody have anything else before we get going there? Okay. So for tonight, we have Mark Saleh. We have 2 videos that we're going to watch. It was recommended by Dan Kozar. It's called Slicing Cuts. I watched the videos and they're pretty interesting. He makes some really, really nice clean cuts on this, so hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. It was done for Gwyneth Woodworkers Association, and they're at Peachtree down in near Atlanta. So I think they're south and east of Atlanta somewhere. So anyway, Travis, I'll let you take it from here.
Should I turn this one off? Okay.
Yeah.
No dancing. You're allowed to snap your fingers out.
So that we can all throw away our sandpaper for the 320 grit.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me here tonight.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I call technical tool application. There's certain things.
Aim the camera.
Yeah. Sorry. We'll get there.
Is wood slicing, people that know me. And for the new folks, it's different than scraping. You'll see when we get into it. Before I came, and I'm going to go through the 5 basic shapes, the 3 basic tools. We'll go through some specialty tools. We'll do spindle work. We'll do side grain bowl work, and we'll do end grain bowl work. And the end grain bowl work and the side grain bowl work also applies to end grain and side grain hollow forms. So one of the things that I find that people don't do when I go to these demos is sometimes chips and garbage get down in the worst papers. So before I start, I always like, especially if you're drilling, I like to take this. So I just take this and do this, put a little piece of sandpaper on it, and you can see I've already got some stuff out of there. Anyway, I'll just pass that around. You can go home and make one of these. Just make a little dollop. Take your Morse taper that you have right here.
No.
Put a piece of wood on either side of it. And glue those 2 pieces of wood to a little block underneath, and you'll have the exact shape of your Morse taper when you do this. But keep these clean, because if you're going to drill something out and you've got a little piece of stuff in here, and you put this Morse taper in here, it cants that drill chuck just a little bit, and when you go down any length, it'll set up a little wobble in there, and it won't be true coming out this side. So these Morse tapers have to be, totally in order. And you can just take a little piece of sandpaper, put it over, put it in the slot, right? And just fold it back both ways like that. And then you can go in there and you can turn it off. And the key is, when we're on these lathes, right, what we're trying to do is do everything we can to enhance our accuracy. We have your contact. All right? What I've done here is taken a 2x4. I'll start out with the simple spindle stuff. Right? I've taken a 2x4, which I teach on. And we'll take a roughing gouge. We'll get it from square around. So we'll lock that down. All I'm doing is putting the tool in here, and we're going to rotate the tool around and make a flat surface on the top. This is all we're going to do. Then we look at it, and I don't know if the light can see, there's two shades of shine there, so that means it's not even. So it's completely non-blind all the way into it. See that? Can the light see that? There's a little, Larry, you just want your phone to switch all the way. You go over there. Now, one of the things that I'm in the habit of doing, instead of having my roughing gouge up at a 60 or 70 degree angle, right, I like to have it laid way back at about a 30. Reason, because not only is this a roughing gouge, it's one of the finest finishing tools that you have in your toolbox. How many people use their roughing gouge for finish cuts? There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll cash it in the intro like that.
I'm right-handed, so I always have my hand off the end of the tool. Right? I make a body triangle, boom. Right? Now, I'm not moving my hands away from my body. My body moves. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to touch the back of the bevel, bring the handle up, see what it starts to cut. Right? Now let's go with my body. My hands maintain the triangle. That's all I'm doing. That's a planing cut. And you can do the same thing, right? Where they began. It's a planing cut. Then we're going to go in very plain. It's a planing cut. We can do the same thing with a skew. The skew, it's a planing cut. See that? Same thing. Now, if we look at the result, right? If we look at the result here, can you get a close-up and see how chewed up that 2x4 is? Why did the 2x4 get chewed up on a planing cut? That violates the rule of wood turning in my shop. Wood cannot come into a wood turning tool for me in my shop because it's always a scrape. So we want to try to avoid that with all of our tools, other than a parting tool.
What did you just say?
It's always going to be a scrape. Okay, so now if I reorient this tool this way, so now it's in line, the blade is in line. See the front edge of that blade is in line with the rotation? Can you see that? Now watch what happens. Again, we hold our tools off the end because turning tools get pushed down the shaft. They ricochet off the bevel supports the cut, and the tool does the work. In my shop, there's none of this. As soon as your hands are separated from the body, it's over. You see people doing this. Well, this is a farmer's plow. You don't put the plow sideways into the dirt, you wear the horse out. You always put the point of the plow in, and the curl of the tool or the curl of the plow does the work. And this is my horse. So all I am is a holder and a guider of the tool. We lay it on the bevel. We bring the handle forward. Did you see the cut line up here? Watch it again. It's on the bevel. Boom. See that cut line up here? And then I just hold the tool. And I lean my body slowly forward. And the tool does the work. No sanding required. Okay. All tools, bowl gouges, spindle gouges, roughing gouges, whatever, all work the same way. They're like the rudder on a sailboat or the handle on a little red wagon. The left to right motion on the handle steers the tool. So, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay it on the bevel, make the cut line. As I'm going forward, all I have to do is do what? Move my hip to the right, and move my hip to the left, and it makes those, it goes in or out. I can turn it. Yeah, I'll do it again. As I'm going forward, my hip's going around to the right, I make a bead. Go up this way, I make a cove. Left to right, all tools is your direction. Any question on the roughing gouge? And if anybody wants to come up out of the audience and check out this cut, they are welcome.
What speed are you turning this in?
About 2,000. This is an inch and a half, so I turn about 2,000 at that, inch and a half.
What's your relationship of the tool rest to the center of where you're, is it lower than normal or?
No, right? I make it to my comfort zone. See, it makes no difference if the tool rest is way up here or way down here.
As long as you get that relationship?
No, there's one thing that you can't do. Let's say it's way up here. I can still do all the same work, right? The only thing I can't do is take the tool below the center of rotation. So you adjust the height of this tool rest to the width of your tool and your own comfort zone. There's no rule other than you cannot take this tool below the center of rotation. So now I have to be way up here, see? And I can do the same thing. I just can't take that tool down below that center of rotation. Another thing you need to know is when you adjust the height of your lathe, the center of rotation needs to be at the center of your elbow. If you're up here, if you're down here, you're going to be bending your back and it's going to kill you. Okay, any further questions on the roughing gouge?
See, I told him we could hear it, and then he worked on it, somebody worked on it.
Guys like that, number one, the tool is perfectly sharp. This is what Jim was in. And they had the concept, ride the bevel, which let's go to the spindle gouge, since this is a spindle.
Okay, you can take a look at my spindle gouge. It has a convex back. Can you see the convex back on that? And I have a parabolic curve on the front. If you can't make it, if you can't draw a parabolic curve, basically a McDonald's arch, then you can use your jig. Right? You can use a jig like this, right? Put it on there and you can make a parabolic curve, right? On your grinding wheel. And after you make that parabolic curve, then you want to take and come back. Just take the back edge, we can go right here. Come back about 1.25 inches. Don't touch the flutes up on the front. Just take that back. As I roll this, I slowly move the handle out. And it makes it convex. Now see where that little extra line right there? I didn't come all the way up to the tip, did I? So now I can turn the tool around, right? And I can join, because this has been made by my jig, the parabolic curve. So now I can take that on the back, and I join the back to the front parabolic curve. And I take out the two separate angles, and I make it all one smooth curve. Can you all see that? It's all one smooth curve here. I don't got too much light in here. So there you go. The reason I do that on my spindle gouge is because I can make every shape. I don't have to use two tools. I can do all my spindle work with one tool. Now, I didn't bring it, but I can do every piece of work, right, that I'm going to do on these little fine finials and everything. I can do it with a 2-inch wide spindle gouge. It's not the width of the blade. It's the profile that makes the difference. Okay, these are the rules we need to know. I'm going to turn around here, Dan. Okay, if this spindle gouge is facing north and the flute faces to the west, the tool must enter the wood facing west of north. The shaft has to be west of north. If the flute faces east, then the shaft has to go in east of north. Here's the reason why. Can you see on the overhead camera? See that parabolic curve goes this way. So if I do this, I'm okay. If I do this, and I happen to touch that, violating the east-west rule, look what happens. Has anybody ever had a screw back or a catch? That's why. It makes no difference if it's a skew, a roughing gouge, a bowl gouge, a spindle gouge. If you violate the east-west rule upon entry, you will get a screw back. Period. Now, what's interesting is that once I touch this wood, right, I'm going to touch it at 12 o'clock straight over the flutes. Now this is on the entry, right? So this is 12 o'clock. So the first thing I say when I go up to the lathe is east-west rule, bing. Now I'm going to touch it, I'm going to stick the point of the tool directly into the wood at the 12 o'clock position. I just stuck it in. Then I'm going to tilt the tool, in this case to 11 o'clock. That puts the cut on the lower blade. And I just lean in. And what that does, it operates just like the farmer's plow. It goes in, it cuts on the lower blade, it curls it and takes it out of the way. If I go this way, then I have to go, I say east-west, right? That takes me this way. I take no more than 1/16 of an inch. I stick it at 12, tilt to 1, and go into the center. Now, as I go into the center, I cannot push this in a straight line. It won't work. Because it will slide off the cut line. When you touch it, I have to raise the handle to make the tip of the tool go down, and it has to go toward the center of rotation. Watch. 12, 1. Arc to the center. See, I had to come up and arc that in. 12, 1. Arc to the center. What would happen if I pushed it in straight? Oh, slid off. It slid off. You ever seen people make 100 little cuts? The gouge keeps sliding off because they don't understand the technical nature of the tool. So, these tools travel in arcs. As the diameter decreases, I have to keep tracing that decreasing diameter with the tip of the tool. This is called a V-cut. 12, 11, arc to the center. Uh-oh! What's this stuff in the middle? I call it a wizard. And how do we get rid of it? How do you think we get rid of it? What? Okay. He says come back from the other side. Let's try it. No, not really. Because now we've still got a little mark here. Got a little mark here. Watch, here's how you do it. All right, you're at 1 o'clock on this cut. At the very end of the cut, when you get to the very end of the cut, you just go back to 12 o'clock. You start at 12, 11, you arc all the way in, you get to the end, and you go back to 12. If you see a little whizzer in there, you go right back in there and you brush it. And you go back to 12. No sanding required. So, these tools, this tool cuts at 11 or 1. But Mark, how do you avoid that screw back if you need to make an undercut? Because if I touch this here, what's going to happen? It's coming in my face, isn't it? So remember how we always enter the wood at 12 o'clock? If I enter the wood at 12 o'clock and I twist to 11, you hear that bevel rubbing? Hear it rubbing? See, I can turn it, go up underneath it, do whatever I want. As long as that bevel's rubbing, right, if I stick it, it's going to catch. Once I have bevel contact, I can go anywhere I want with this tool. Because if you're going to cut off a bowl, right, or anything like that, you're not going to use a parting tool because you'd have to sand. See? So what are you going to do? Right? If we're going to make that, this is a bowl. We're just going to pretend this is a bowl. See that? I'm going to go under here. There, now can you see that? No sanding required. Because if we use a parting tool, it's going to shatter the wood. We have to use sandpaper. So learning how to use this tool technically is very important. So what I've covered now is the entry, cuts at 12 or 1. You clean shape in between shapes by turning back to 12 on either side. You just can't take it past 12. If you take it past 12 and it touches that top blade, it's the worst catch you'll ever have in the world. Another thing you can't do is you can't take the tool below center. If you take the center of the tool below the center of rotation, then it wants to catch it and suck it under. Okay? And if you're going to, once you have that bevel contact, again, you can go anywhere you want. Okay, we've done a V-cut, straight in. It's an arc motion. And now we're going to take that V-cut and we're going to make it into a cove. We'll just make a V cut here. We'll just do it right here, just for a moment. I'll just do it right here. Okay, so now I have a V cut. What happens if I try to make the cove without making the V cut? If I try to make this into a cove, I just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I can only take a 1/16 of an inch of a cut with a wood turning tool. So if we give the tool a place to go, then we can operate off our 1/16 of an inch. There's 4 physical moves you have to make a cleanly sliced cove. The heel of the hand stays locked upon the tool rest. If you have a piece of wood in a chuck, and those chuck jaws are open, right? You wouldn't want to hit the edge of those chuck jaws. Now, if the camera will go in here and look at this, see where I've taken my chuck jaws and put them on a grinder? I've rounded those off. So if my hand or my wrist actually touches them, it's not a sharp edge like a stump grinder, because it'll go all the way to the bone. I might get bruised, but I won't lose my wrist bone. Okay? So what I can do, I can move my tool rest, and I tell my students this is not only a tool rest, but it's also a protector plate. See that? I've got that against there, I can't go into that chuck. Okay, here we go. So the 4 moves are this. I'm going to lock the heel of my hand on the tool rest. I'm going to push the tool, because it only operates by what? Pushing it forward or rotating it. Our left hand, and I'm right-handed, so my left hand has nothing to do with wood turning whatsoever. So this is going to operate as a fulcrum. My left hand can't move. I have a firm but yet loose grip, on this where I can run it through. As I push through, if I want to go this way, then I have to move my hip to the right, and that pushes the tool to the left. In a cove, the tip of the tool has to go above the wood, has to end up above the wood. So, as I'm pushing forward, as I'm rotating to the right, I'm dropping my hip to make the tool go up. At the same time I'm doing that, I'm going to slowly twist the tool like this, because the cut is going to start at the tip and it's going to end up down here on the side of the blade if I want this thing completely sliced. Here we go. Okay, my heel is locked. Stick it at 12. And see my east-west rule is in there? I'm going to twist to 1, and then I'm going to push, lean, drop, and twist. And it's perfectly sliced. See? 12, 11, push, lean, drop, and twist. You see how shiny that is? No torn grain. Okay, let's go ahead and join the two. Okay. 12, 1, push, lean, drop, and twist. Now I want Dan to watch with the camera. I'm going to start at the tip. See, the cut is on the tip. When I get down into the middle of this cove, the cut's going to be all the way down on the side of that parabolic curve. Here we go. Push, lean, drop, and twist. Did you see that cut slip all the way down the side? Now, if I need to join these, then I only work from the high side. Because wood turning is the art of takeaway. I don't want to take away from the low side, I exacerbate the situation. So now I've got to watch that cut line up here on the top. I'm not watching the tool, I'm watching the cut line. Fade in and fade out. And I get a cleanly sliced cove. So now the next thing that we have to deal with is a flat cut. If I take my tool and do this, what's going to happen? Can you see those little rotating lines on there? If you ever discover little lines on your wood, that means that you inappropriately put pressure on the tool with your left hand. You either pushed or pulled with your left hand. So for a flat cut, to avoid those lines, right, we lock our heel on here. We come halfway down the blade. Can you see where I'm halfway down the blade? See? I'm not up at the tip, am I? See, I'm not at the tip. I'm halfway down the blade. Okay? I've got my hand locked on my body, and all I'm going to do is engage the tool and rotate my hip to the right. And now I get an absolutely pristine, clean slice with no tear out, because now this is acting like a little skew. But if I move my left hand, right, then I'm going to have lines appear on my work. Okay, we've done the V cut, we've done a cove, we've done a flat. Let's try a bead. Okay, what we got to do? What we have to make our V cut again. See that? Okay, we've got a V cut. Now we've got a place to go. We can't start the bead and try to roll it. That just gets into a thick wall. What's the number one reason that wood turners can't make a bead? It's wrong tool entry. Watch. See, if I come up here and I say, oh, I'm going to make a little bead shape. So I just touch that and I go, oh man, oh, this is easy. I can make a little bead shape. Oh, I'll make a little bead shape this way. Uh-oh. It's not a bead, it's got a sharp corner. Why? Wrong tool entry. People will struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle because it's the wrong tool entry. Let's just flatten this out here. Okay, so if I'm going to make this bead, then the first thing I have to do, let me just do something here that's round here. I'll do this here. There we go. Okay, I don't know for the camera here. Yep, overhead. There it is, right.
Move it toward, yeah, right there.
There we go. Okay. So if I have this, now see the bevel is different. Here's the shaft, right? And here's where the bevel is. If I have this bevel 90 degrees, let's say this is at the 3 o'clock position. For me, I think it's, whatever you're looking at, 9 o'clock or whatever. As this tool rotates around the bead, right, the bevel has to stay 90 degrees to the surface of the curve. Whether it's a bowl gouge, spindle gouge, roughing gouge, skew, has to stay 90 degrees to the surface as it goes forward. 90 degrees there, do you? So, if we think of this bead as the earth, then if I put this bevel on the equator, You always hear me say, rub the bevel, make the cut line. See, now I can progress around. I'm gonna make a little cut right here, get that corner off right there. That'll help me. So I'm on the equator, right? And now I can go forward. And as I go forward, I lean my hips to the right and I raise the handle to drive the point of the tool into the center down at the South Pole. And now instead of having a corner on the bead, I have half of a ball. So now I've got to go over here and make some V-cuts. And I don't measure the exact distance of the ball, right? I have to go ahead of that because I have to make these V-cuts, right, and give the tool a place to go. Now I can go back to the equator, and I'll make this little cut right here. Now I can go back to the equator. This way I lay it on the equator, make the cut line, push it forward, around, and down to the center. Now I can see I got a little bit of a square corner right there. So I can go back and I can touch that. And I can go into the corner, fade in, and then fade back out. And now I have a sliced bead. So the entry is the most critical thing. You cannot stand in front of this lathe and do wood turning if you want it sliced. Oh, Mark, this is so simple. Guess what? I can turn a bead without having to do all this dance. Go ahead, Bob.
Are you rotating the tool as you come around that with your right hand?
No.
Okay.
It stays at 11 o'clock or at 1 o'clock. Now, what you do, let's say I got to come back from this side right here. Let's say I'm making the bead right in here. Then when I come back in here, I'm at 1 o'clock. Do that. Then when I get there, I turn back to 12, and it's clean. But you know, I don't need to do all this walking around, Mark. I can start my bead like this. I can put my tool right up here like this, and I can just roll this tool around so nice and sweet. Oh, this is so easy. Right? And I can make my bead that way. Except we're going to forget one thing. If you're doing fine work, remember what I said? If this tool is, the wood is coming into the tool, it's going to shatter it. So if you start out your bead like this, then the top of your bead is always going to be shattered. You have to sand it. If you start it out like this, where it's sliding past the surface, right, in line with that surface, right, then it's sliced. Everybody following me? Okay? Okay, we've done V-cut, coves, beads, and flats. We now have discs and points. Okay, to make a point, the center of the tool has to come to the center of rotation again. Remember the cove was up above, the bead was to the center, and now this, to make a point, the cove has to go to the center of rotation. Let me cut this off here just for safety. Get rid of it. Okay. We'll just take this here, that's good. Again, lock your hands. You can have your hand up here or whatever. You just can't move the tool with your hand. Right? I like to keep my tool back here, my hands back here. It's my body triangle because I get the cleanest cuts by pushing the tool. Right? So as I push the tool to the center of rotation, right, what I have to do is this. My cut comes in, it's rolling, and when I get right to there, before I jam it off the end, I have to stop moving it physically. And I have to think about it moving mentally. Right? See that? stop physical and think about it mental. You just think about it. Be a moment in time. You know, the tool will go off the end. And then get it down to one fiber. Now, I can see that that's not a good point. I'm just going to make all the burr go one way. So now I should be able to get that a lot smaller. See that? One fiber without breaking. And that's on soft pine. It's tool technique. Okay, so now we're going to do discs. Very, very important you learn this. I'll just make a... Okay, when we're making finials and small things, we got to have sharp edges. So we take, and what we're going to do here is we're going to use what I call the pump handle technique to make a disc. I'm going to touch the wood on the lower part of the blade. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not going to touch it on the tip. I'm going to touch it down here on the lower part of the blade. Because that lower part of the blade curves out that way. So as I touch it, it's going to clear back some of that wood. And then I'm going to hold my hand very still, and I'm going to tighten the pressure so I hold it to the left side, squeeze left a little bit, and then all I'm going to do is raise the heel of my foot off the ground. I'm going to raise my hip. As I raise my hip, the tool goes down. Here we go. Boom. How simple, right? Now, can you see on that camera? I don't know if you can see or not. Can you see where I'm at the edge of the... Yeah, that's good. Take that black out. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Can you all see? Dan, can you get in here real... Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay. If I'm up here, I'm ahead of the wood. I'm ahead of that corner, aren't I? See that? If I go here, see I'm right at that edge. I don't want to be right at the edge. What I want to do is go behind the edge here. See, I've come behind that little edge. When I come behind the edge and I touch it with the lower blade, I raise my hip, I get a perfect disc. See that? Even on a 2x4. Sharp, crisp edges. Right? Because if you touch those with sandpaper, right, they don't become sharp. That's a little bit, depends on the 2x4. It's a little bit soft. I mean, you might have a few little curls there or whatever. But if you're dealing with ebony or dogwood or hard, maple or cherry, right, they're going to be clean as anything. So what we've done is we have discovered that we can turn beads, coves, flats, discs, and points. And we can do it with a bowl gouge. We can do it with a roughing gouge. We can do it with a spindle gouge. We can do it with a skew. But there's certain basic moves. Now, when you, one of the things that you can do is, I'll just do this real quick. Some of you people have seen me. The newcomers haven't seen me. What we're going to do is we're going to combine. We're going to combine, and I'll talk you through it. I'll talk you through it as I go.
I got one unit.
We're going to combine all 5 forms. And if every day that you go to your shop, the first thing you do in the morning, just like me, is I do my warm-up exercise. First thing I do is I put a piece of wood on the lathe and I practice beads, coves, flats, discs, and points. Just like a football player warms his body up, he gets his body all loose and everything, and now he can go play the game. So what I'm going to do is, I'll show you one other thing. I'll show you what I do. If anybody wants to time me, they're welcome. Okay, I'm going to make this from squared around. I'm just going to use a spindle gouge. Okay, we're going to make a point. I'm going to start on the side of the blade, and I'm going to bring the cut from the side of the blade, which is in line with the rotation. I'm going to bring the cut all the way back to the tip of the blade. Make a little bead. Now I'm going to come behind the edge and make a disc. I'm going to make another disc. And I'll make a third disc. Now I'm going to make a cove. I'm going to come down like this, and I'm going to go back from this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my minimum diameter. Now when I push forward here, if something should split out, since it's a Zen grain, it can't split past that minimum diameter. So now I'll go over here, right, and we'll make a cove, a long cove. Right? Do you see me pushing with my left hand? No, my body is doing all this. Right? See that? Laying that spindle gouge out. I guess we're getting a little thin there, but you can get the idea. You can get the idea. We'll make a V cut here. All right. And we'll go in here, we'll make another V cut. Let's make a flat. Rotate our hip to the right, make a flat cut. Make another V cut right there. Let's start on the side of the blade here. Let's roll it around. Bring our body all the way around. See if we can make a little bead. Come back and make that clean. Now we'll go back here, start on the equator. Bring it all the way back around to the center. Bingo. We got a little bead. Let's make another V cut. Now when we pass this around, please, it's going to be pretty delicate. But I'm doing it just to let you know that you can take a 2x4, and if you use proper tool technique, right, you can do just as fine a work. All right, so now I'm going to make my cove. All right. Push, lean, drop, and scoop, fade in, fade out. All right, we'll make a little chamfer here. Make some V cuts up here. Giving my tool a place to go. I'm going to make some V cuts here. Okay, so now I'm going to do an OG curve. We're going to make a cove. We're going to rotate in a flat. And we're going to go into a bead. Okay, so I'm going to start my cove. Push, lean. Yeah, now I'm going to rotate my hip to the right in my flat. Now I'm going to bring the cup back to the tip. And come around and drive the tip to the center and make an OG curve, or B. Make a V cut. Okay, and then we'll come in here and give ourselves some space to cut it off. Now I want to make a downward, now I'm making a downward motion. I want to make this thinner. If I try to cut this off and my tool goes in there as a wedge, it's going to flip this thing off. So I make it a downward, downhill approach so that the wood has a place to go. See how the curl can expand into that downhill? I'll reach underneath. And I'll just hold it. And we've done beads, coves, flats, distant points, right? With no sandpaper. On a 2x4.
Yeah, that's the challenge. I want to see some beads, codes, points, and whatever else there was.
Is that one of those videos off YouTube or?
Yeah, that's a YouTube video.
Is that a shape you've
His name is Mark Salay. S-I-L-A-Y.
Just wanted to give it a try.
And he was with Gwyneth. It's in the meeting. I sent it out, so it's meeting information. So yeah, he has a lot of videos. He even does the same thing with bowls. So it's a good one to watch. So, all right, that's all I got. See you next time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, on Zoom.
See you again. We leave this here? I'm ready. Just leave it everything?
Yeah, just leave everything as is.
Thank you. I made
Thank you.
Yeah, great. All right. Yeah, I made some belts. Yep. Yep. Yep.